witness the wonder of the ages that left you wanting for more. Hold your breath as the tightrope walkers dance seamlessly across the thin line above the ground with skills, courage, and grace. Life is like a tightrope. It can be unpredictable and takes a lot of courage to take risks and face uncertainties. As a child, I never noticed the line. I felt like any other child would, focusing on enjoying my childhood. The world was my oyster, full of adventures and vivid imaginations. Or at least that's how it felt like back then. One of my fondest memories is playing imaginary with my siblings and cousins. I remembered that some days we were spies thinking of elaborate plans to take down the bad guys. And some days we became kings and queens having political argument about snacks. We also managed to turn my grandparents' garden as a bowling alley by rearranging these bottles as bowling pins and using a coconut as a bowling ball. Those were the good old days. We would play until sundown, or at least until our parents decided it was time to go home. Primary school came. I dreaded school as a child. The few good things that happened during school years were friends and the back-to-school shopping spree. Even then, there's barely anything to worry about. It's easy to get good grades, and it's easy to befriend people. One of the pastimes my friends and I used to do was collecting tadpoles during break times. We would bring plastic containers and pick them right up from the pond at our school. Not to worry, we didn't bring it home, it was later free to their natural habitat. Even then, there were no consequences, and the fun seemed to last forever. Then came middle school. The teachers gave task upon task that I thought it was never going to end. I don't know how other school works, but for Arabic school, it felt like the storm won't pass. Tamrin, which is test that involves with memorizing Arabic words, was given almost every single day. It doesn't help that I was also balancing with academics such as English, maths, and the Malay language. It was quite a workload as a student, but even then, I don't think I cared as much as I should. I studied, took exams, and suddenly, I graduated, finishing my SUB and O-levels. When my results came, I saw the consequences. I felt like I was on a title. I felt like I was being pried upon every move, and my performance was being watched by a live audience. The line that used to be non-existent felt clearer and narrower than I expected. I was afraid to continue. What if I fall? I didn't want to give any more reasons to be disappointed in myself, much less disappointing those around me. I was stuck in a whirlwind of thoughts and what ifs. What if I'm stuck here? What if I don't exceed everyone's expectation? I was only able to get out of those thoughts when my dad tried to give me advice using Arabic proverbs. It was actually due to confusion that it was being assured. I wasn't well versed in the language back then. Even now, I still struggle to understand some words, much less actually holding a conversation. Sensing my obvious blankness, he repeated, "Ma fata qad mata," which means what happened has already happened, or let bygones be bygones. Those words gave me the courage to move on and take a step forward. Suddenly, the line didn't seem scary as much, and I could cross it just fine. I met new opportunities, new connections, and new friends along the way. I tried things I never thought in a million years I think I would do. I joined a poetry reading contest, and I actually won. I enjoyed calligraphy when it used to be my least favorite subject back in primary school. I joined Toastmasters. Never expected that one. Life has a way to dump us into situations that we either like or don't like, and yet we still manage to overcome it. Sometimes mistakes were made, but it's usually laced with growth and opportunities, hidden in corners waiting for us to find them. This will only happen if we are willing to take that step forward. Besides, navigating life through one step at a time has a nice ring to it, don't you think? Thank you.
Thank you, Amira Zachary, for your wonderful speech with the title of Hypers. For our second pivotal, for our second featured speech, let us welcome Bobby Hassan with the title of My Three Wise Men.
My three wise men. My speech tonight is about sharing my experiences as a protege. Now, what is a protege? Nowadays, it's stated as a mentee. So, in general, it's someone who learns from a mentor. Now, what is exactly a mentor? A mentor is someone who imparts knowledge to someone who's less experienced. Although this definition can be applied to teachers, coaches, and consultants. But there are distinguishing factors, but I won't get into them. So who are these three wise men? My first wise man, it's probably obvious, is my father. So he was my wise man, my mentor from my childhood to my late teenager years. But he wasn't, I consider, as a good mentor, technically. He was more of an absentee figure. He has a lesser fair, if that's how you pronounce it, approach. So how I learned to swim was he brought me to the end of the pool and then let me go. So I had to learn to swim right on the spot. If I didn't, I would die. Thankfully, I survived. As you can see, I'm here today. So I learned to swim technically with the guidance of my dad, but I learned by myself. I later learned to swim properly from other people. How I learned to ride a bike? Yes, he did bought me a bike, but he was never there to teach me. He was never there to see me fall and get back up again. He didn't see all my bruises. The biggest ultimate unintentional lesson he gave me was independence. He actually got bankrupt, but tried to escape his problems by leaving Brunei to Indonesia and remarried there. So in my O-level years, he was gone. I had to learn by myself how to figure things out, to make my own choices. In O-level, I was a pure science student, but without my father's guidance, I was no longer that. He was never there to push me towards the science stream anymore, but my subjects were still pushing me towards there. But in A-levels, I could choose. So I could choose the subjects that were not available to me before. But the only thing that I was comfortable with was art. So in my A-levels, I was studying biochem, maths, and art, just for fun. In addition, I did a lot of other CCAs which didn't require my father's permission anymore. So I took karate, the debate team, and the swimming club, which I also learned swimming there. My second wise man is my predecessor, the person who I have replaced in my current job. His name is Steven Song. He was a business consultant in Brunei. Now he works in Shell. He taught me how to start a business. He was my teacher, my guru. Because of him, I was able to start and run my businesses. He taught me through classes and through mentoring sessions. So I learned about planning, marketing strategies, finances, and he even taught me about self-development and self-motivation. So he opened up the world of self-development to me, which include Anthony Robbins, a few development workshops called Landmark Forum and Money and You. You can probably Google this later. So he taught me how to achieve my goals. At that time it was business. He also taught me how to achieve my other goals. My third wise man was my boss. So from 2011 until 2020, before he retired, he was my mentor. He loves to advise. Even before I got the job, he advised. Because when I did the interview, which I failed, he provided me with feedback why I failed. In general, it's because of my unprofessional look. I was wearing a cartoonish tie. It was a Snoopy dog tie. And my mannerism wasn't so professional. So when I had the second chance of interviewing a few months later, I took in his advice and showed my professional side. And thankfully, I got the job. But when I got the job, he advised me on how to manage projects and conduct my workshops. He even told me to join Toastmasters. It was the main reason why I got Toastmasters in the first place in 2011. Thankfully, he got me in with the company budget. So not my own money, thankfully. Even though I consider myself as someone who is already good at public speaking, doing classes, because those were the things I did before. I still went in following his advice. But it was in Toastmasters I realized how much more I could be. There's still a lot more that I could improve. So that's why I continued on. So those were my three wise men. My absentee father, my guru, my predecessor, and my boss. So these were the men who helped develop me to the man that I am today. So our mentors can help us flourish in life, whether it's in daily life, personal life, or professional life. The question would be, for you, is who are your mentors? So you can look into your past, who have made you who you are today. But more importantly, what do you want to be? What do you want to achieve? And who could that mentor be for you? If it's for developing yourself in terms of communication and leadership, that mentor might be in this room today. So I invite you to develop yourself, to help yourself flourish by exploring your options, especially in terms of mentorship. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Prof. Hassan, for the inspiring speech. Now let us indulge to our final speech of the day, which is with the title of Balloon Sea Operated Aquatic Transportation. Let us welcome Adnan Morshid to the stage.
One moment. There's a technical aspect of this. I've done this so many times, but I
No, extended view.
screen.
It's extended view. If it's open, you just play.
it's reading it as dual screen.
Yes, but if you play, it should automatically. Oh wait, this is Google.
Yes.
It should work. Hopefully, if it doesn't, then you have to drag it to that window first.
Maybe it's got these different operations.
Register. It's Microsoft Service.
Okay.
Is that?
We also learned this in Toastmasters, you know.
The other side.
You never think about it, but you know.
Hey!
Yeah, then
It's
it's
different.
Yeah, it's going from your.
Excellent
you need
public
to-
speaking.
Yeah,
How to give speech if you cannot work your software.
Like here?
Yes. Okay. Then maybe put it
How
to
many
the
of
top.
us become Zoom experts in the
Yeah.
next right? Everyone has to go through Zoom training.
Well done, well done. Seriously.
There's like 8 of you guys over there. You guys figure this out. Say moral support.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
The title of my speech today is Buoyancy Operated Aquatic Transportation. And I will explain more on what this is later on. The purpose of my speech today is a reflection of my journey as a Toastmaster because this is the very last speech of my project. So, going back to my very first speech, my icebreaker speech, it is called The Life of Pi. It's not the movie. The pi there is supposed to be the key to success. And what is that pi? Performance, image, and exposure. Performance is how well you do your job, which relates to your intelligence, your IQ. Image is how you make people feel about you, your personal brand, your EQ, your emotional intelligence. And finally, your exposure. How many people actually know about you? Do people talk about you? And that is your SQ, your social intelligence. Now, having all this supposedly made you successful. I believe when I joined Toastmaster, I have all three. And yet, I haven't been acquainted to this person named Success. So there must be something wrong. What was missing? So I think, and I think, and I think. And that's what's missing. I wasn't thinking. It was the reflection. I did everything that was I was told to do. I did what was laid out. I did it very well. People like what I did. People are talking about it. But that's it. I'm just one of the bees, one of the drones. Because without reflection, let me cook. Without reflection, there's no experience, it's just tenureship. Without reflection, there's no knowledge, you're just gaining information. Without reflection, you're not really exploring, you're just following. Without reflection, you're not really progressing, you're just moving. And for my fellow Toastmasters, without reflection, you're not really improving, you're just doing your roles, doing your speeches. So the key to success isn't pi. You're missing the R. It is now peer. The bridge, the water. You remember my title? Buoyancy Operated Aquatic Transportation, or simply boat. Clever, right? That's why I'm presentation master level 5. So here's my reflection on my pathways. The pathway isn't really a path that you follow, because pier is going to the water. There's no path on the water. You're free to go anywhere and everywhere. You create your own path. So, success is not a destination but a journey in open waters. And this is my boat. With the big sails, I let the wind dictates where I go. Where the wind blows, I go. Where people tell me what to do, I do it. I don't really have control. Could anyone tell me what that ship is? No, it's hardship. Because you're not really reflecting.
So bad.
Let me cook.
I don't want to eat.
Because without reflection, you're not really gaining the exercise. You're just doing. You're just spending your energy. So I jump ship. And that's my new boat. And what do I call that boat?
Let him go.
It's called flagship. Because after reflection, then I begin on my journey towards success. That's why it's called flagship. Someone's like having cringe over there, I'm sorry. Now with this flagship, the advantages are, it's fast. I'm free to explore. I'm in control. Also what I thought. In Pathways, we have at least 5 projects to complete one level. About 5, maximum 5. And I have an objective. I want to succeed. So in that one period of time, I remember in that 1 month, I completed 3 levels. In just 1 month. I go from every club every day, online and offline, to do my speeches. I was very fast. But I don't feel that I'm doing much. The downside, I am moving fast, but I'm moving by myself. And because of that, I'm not gaining much. There's no support. I'm not really going far. So, this flagship is not really flagship. It is again hardship. So I jump ship again. This time it's a cruise. I realized I can't do this alone. So I decided to be more involved in Toastmasters. I talked to each and every one of them, make friends. And that's why this boat is called Relationship. Let me go. Now, that also means that I'm looking for a mentor. I can't do this by myself. I need someone to help me. And with all these amazing people in Toastmasters, you can learn a lot. It is fun. Definitely, talking to people is fun. There's a lot of knowledge and experience here collecting in this very room. You just need to access it. And I remember during that time, after every Toastmaster meeting, we would hang out at a restaurant until 1 a.m. discussing ideas, discussing techniques, business ideas, everything. Everything was on the table. And yet, I still don't feel successful. I want to move. I can't leave all these friends behind. And not everyone's going to share your values. There are just some people that you can't get along with, and you're stuck on that cruise boat. Can't really kick them out. So what do? I move on to the next ship. I jump ship again because despite all the fun, career-wise, it is still, can you guess? Hardship. I can see that some of you are learning to read my mind. So the next ship is a literal battle. It's called leadership. I decided to be more involved to be more with the intent, with my involvement. and that is to be the exco. I started off as the, pun intended, the sergeant at arms. And it was difficult. I am learning a lot. And the people around me, they have wonderful support system. But it was difficult. It was very difficult. It is literally like a war. Because if I crack, the team crack, the club crack, and then it will be a crack house. The downside of it, yes, it is a high pressure environment and it's very, very draining. Previous excos and current excos could testify. You're no longer enjoying Toastmaster. I heard Toastmaster, I sighed. Those who are smiling, those are the excos. Yeah. But this ship is not really leadership anymore. What is it called?
Friendship. Friendship.
No,
Oh.
it's friendship. Got you, third time's the charm. You build such a strong relationship when you are down in the trenches together. With that, I found the friendship. And with that, with the support system, with the knowledge that I've learned, I feel that, okay, this is not the path. I can't do this all the time. So I went back to my first ship. But this time the ship is no longer flagship. It is now ownership. I took control of what's happening. I took control of my actions. If I needed to, I can step out from Toastmasters, which I did for a few months. Recharge myself and then come back. As you can see, some of the Toastmasters here, they do come back. Because it is a rich learning environment. The downside is that there's always going to be a partnership with hardship. And that's okay. Because with that hardship, it's an opportunity to grow. And when you grow, you realize that you're not alone in those waters. There are other people with their own ships together. So what do I learn all this time on how to navigate Toastmasters? It's the right mindset. Hardship is not something to be afraid of. It is an opportunity for you to grow and learn. Explore new waters. When hardship doesn't scare you anymore, you challenge yourself. And when you learn from those challenges, you are presented with more opportunities. Anchoring. It's okay to take a rest. It's okay to revisit old roles or roles that you have done before and maybe teach the people who are in those current roles on what you have learned. So I'm very happy to share my experiences with the newer Toastmasters. And if I'm doing the same role again, I'm definitely going to be experimenting. Because it is a learning environment. And learning is an active process. When you're out in the ocean of communication, it's not enough to just survive. You want to strive. And be kind. While we are in the same ocean, we all have different types of boats. Some may be more equipped to handle the rough seas. Some may need support. So be kind. Everyone here is learning. Everyone here have their own pressure. So be kind. And last but not least is to create or find a support system. Because I believe, just like a ship, the ship don't sink by the water that's around them, they sink by letting the water come inside. So do not let whatever happens around you brings you down. And that's why in Toastmaster, get ready to cringe.
Oh no.
In Toastmaster, it is a peer-to-peer.
No.
Appreciate the pun. So all in all, the conclusion that I have for this would be recipe for success is performance, image, exposure, and most importantly, reflection. And success is not a destination, but a journey where you may or may not require to change ships. So if there's anything for the newer Toastmasters or for the members that have the intention to sail the waters of communication, let's sail together. Thank you.
Oh no, man. My boat sunk a long time ago. Capsized.
Thank you, Arden, for the wonderful speech. And since it has been a long session, let us take a short break. Timer, how many minutes do you reckon we have?
No idea. It's fast.
Let us take a 5-minute break.
Okay, 5 minutes.
Yes.
So cringe.
Good evening, fellow Toastmasters and active guests.
Good
evening.
To begin with, I would like to applaud all the table topic speakers for your courage to take up the challenge. I believe that you have definitely flourished to a certain extent by standing here and expressing your thoughts. In terms of relevance to the topic, I observed that all the speakers managed to tackle the topic head-on. Your content is not only relevant, but also very interesting and insightful. Other than that, everyone was very well versed in using linking devices. For example, when I was young, when I go home a few years later, this kind of linking devices are really helpful because they help give a smoother flow through the speech, and it's definitely easier for the audience to follow through your speech. So well done on that. With regards to structure, Philip gave an attention-grabbing opening, followed by examples of why he feels contented. He then ended his speech by thanking everyone. A very good example of structuring a speech, so well done, Philip. For Hakim, I like how you started your speech. You sounded very definitive with the opening sentence. No one is born to be happy. You went on to talk about the opposite of happiness, which is reality. I understand that the topic is very broad and general, and it's definitely very difficult to come up with content that is enough for you to talk for 2 minutes. Fret not, I was like you, but there are things that we can actually do, such as taking a few seconds to think about the content, focus on the keywords path and happiness before you start, and using your own personal experience as your content. When you have a rough structure, it will be a lot easier for you to come up with the content for your speech. I would like to advise you not to give up. I feel that you have already made the first step. Just keep walking and you'll find the path to success one day. Next, Frank, I must say that I'm really impressed by your speech. You started off by saying happiness is not all about money. You then gave examples of what you love. You also inserted a metaphor, a table with 4 legs. Perhaps at the end of your speech, you may encourage everyone to do what they love so that you actually sound more convincing. You insert the call to action at the end of your speech. Last but not least, our president, previous president, former president, Charles is an exemplary speaker from my point of view. He had a very humorous opening. He also used his personal life as the content, and he concluded by saying that he's a happily married man. I really look up to you because you just gave a very well-structured speech within a short span of time. So everyone, I think we can also learn from Charles on how to structure our speech effectively within a short span of time. In a nutshell, it was a very stimulating table topic session. That's all from me. Back to you, General Evaluator.
Thank you, Lawrence. With those kind words and tips on improvement, hopefully we can all flourish in the next table topics. It's never easy. Even I sometimes go blank. And I really like some of the tips that Lawrence said in terms of the keywords. So that's something to remember. Please help me welcome back our table topics master just to present the best table topic award. Please help me welcome Persuasive Mastery Level 5, Lai Ling.
Hello, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
This is an omen. Because we do not have one winner, we actually have 2 winners tonight. Yeah, in fact, I think the race was so closely run that in the end, we all thought that 2 people deserved to win. And these 2 are, drumrolls please, Philip and Charles. Yet, but we're getting close. One day. All right, let's just do this really awkward presentation. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Lovely. We'll take turns giving acceptance speeches. Maybe it's Charles first. All right.
I'd just like to say it's an honor to be standing next to Philip and getting the best table topic. Just to be standing beside him and sharing it is a win for me. So I'm very happy with that. That's all I have to say.
Thank you very much, Charles. And over to you, Philip, your acceptance speech.
I don't expect to win this. I'm the timer tonight. But thanks for the encouragement. I will try harder next time.
Thank you very much, Charles and Philip. No, it's okay, Philip. You don't have to try harder next time. It's fine. Alright, those are our 2 speakers. Thank you so much for both. And I'll pass the floor back to our general evaluator.
Brilliant. I will try even harder. So now we go to the prepared speech evaluation. So help me welcome our first evaluator for our first speech, Leadership Development Level 1, Alia Inship.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
First of all, كيف حالك يا أميرة؟
Wow.
As per
Look at the
okay,
idea.
كيف حالك means how are you, basically. As per the remarks during Amira's icebreaker speech, she excelled at her structure in describing the story that was in her speech, but needed improvements on vocal projection and body language. Now, Amira, I loved your speech. I feel like that is something that is very personal and very nice to learn more about you. She excelled at vocal variation. I feel like she would be a great candidate to to be your child's storyteller or perhaps a gossip girl, because she had this tension in her speech, because she uses pauses in her speech, which created that tension. So I was like, what's next? I want to know more. What's going on? What is she about to tell? What is she about to drop on us now? So I wanted to know more. Her body language was also effective. For example, she mentioned few words and she used few things and then task upon task, and that was very well done. However, with that said, I feel like your body language could be more improved on by your reenactment. Your reenactment could be done to further emphasize your story, specifically on the storytelling part on your dad, the conversation between you and your dad. When Amira was down in a pit and then her father was trying to uplift her by using the mafata maqatta. Yes. Again, got it. Quote. And perhaps you could use this stage a bit more just to reenact that storytelling bit just a bit. Top it up down a notch. Okay. Next is, where is it? Hold on. Okay. Yeah, and then secondly, the message could be stronger if your voice is stronger. Hence the vocal projection that was noted during your icebreaker speech. In closing, Amira is a good storyteller by using her vocal variation and pauses as well as body language, but could be flourished so that she could be a better public speaker even more if she could work on her body language even more and vocal projection. With that, back to you, John.
Okay, so that was Alia giving her evaluation of Amira's speech. We'll now go to the second evaluation, just because of time, we're going very quickly. Please help me welcome for Bobby's evaluator, I always get it, Persuasive Marshall Level 5, Toastmaster Lila, and she's back in.
Thank you. Hey everyone, it's me again. I'm here now in the capacity as Bobby's evaluator, and I always enjoy Bobby's speeches. For those of you who've heard him speak more than once, he's just such an entertaining speaker. His commanding presence, his subtle engagement with the audience, the way he keeps checking on us to check if we're listening, we're reacting the way he wants, and adjusting himself to suit us. His dynamic presentation, the way he utilizes his body and the stage to engage everyone. So I thought these were all just signature Bobby, and that's precisely why I enjoy his speeches so much. Where Bobby flourished in this particular speech, I thought, was his structure. I thought that division between his sections were clear. There was an intro, first mentor, second mentor, third mentor. There was a call to action at the end, very complete, very cohesive, to link everything back to his speech. I thought the way that the structure was very efficient, very strategic. And of course he had to be, because he had a lot of things to cover. With 3 mentors in 7 minutes, he had to be able to fit everything into it and neatly so that we could get something in the entire 7 minutes. So I thought his speech organization definitely demonstrated his experience as a seasoned speaker very well. That said, I do have some thoughts about the content Bobby presented, which I would like to share with everyone in the audience. Being that it was a mentorship project, I thought that the speech could revolve more around the mentoring aspects of the speech, the relationship between Bobby and his 3 mentors, that direct relationship. There was a lot of focus revolving around the actions as a result of the mentorship. So Bobby did this, this, and this. He liked doing this and this and this, and he learned something from doing this and this and this. But I thought that
there could have been a balance between the way his action and also the philosophy aspect of it. So a way to stay true to the spirit of the project, for example, would be to reframe it. Refer back constantly to the mentor and the role in inspiring Bobby, for example. His father, he was an absentee mentor, yes, but Bobby gained independence from his absence. He gained freedom from his absence. He got to be there for himself when his father wasn't there for him. So by keep on referring back to the mentor, the mentoring relationship would have a bigger role in the actions that resulted from their absence. So something like that I feel like would be more true to the project objectives. Another thing that I would like to comment on as well was the structure. While it was well segmented, they weren't equal. For example, the first mentor had more of a presence compared to the second and third. In fact, I thought that the second was quite glossed over. So I wish that there would have been an equal division between all three so that we could have a more clear idea of the impact that the three of them equally distributed to Bobby. And thirdly, my third and last point about Bobby's speech was, I think, the call to action at the end. I thought it was very well thought out and very complete in the way that there was a lot to be learned and drawn from Bobby's experiences, but at the same time, I wish there was some references to the first three mentors in the ending, because in my opinion, I thought that the ending itself read a little bit more standalone to the rest of the speech. So I felt that having the three mentors referred back in the ending would have been a nice conclusion and a good reminder to the audience what exactly was learned from the three mentors and how could those be applied to the call to action and also to everyone in the audience. So I think regarding that, there's no doubt that Bobby is a very masterful speaker. He knows his impact on the audience and he knows what his presence can do, and I like that he utilized it to its full effect. Some things that I wish he had done differently was, I think, more references to the mentoring relationship, a more equal division between the three mentors, and also something to tie the mentors back to the call to action. I think that's all for me. And all in all, I thought very nicely done, Bobby. I look forward to your next speech, and I believe this should be your last project for the level 2. Yeah, meaning you're eligible to compete now. Congrats!
May Bobby flourish at the competition. Just for the guests, Ling Ling's evaluation was very thorough, a lot of information and feedback. Bobby is an experienced speaker, so generally the evaluations, if it's an experienced speaker, Bobby is a sucker for punishment and he likes getting that feedback. I think. Okay, no tears coming running down Bobby's face. Our next evaluator will be evaluating unlearned speech. Please help me welcome Distinguished Toastmaster Rosanna Yu.
Thank you very much, Charles. So Adlan was here to reflect on his path of going through the presentation mastery pathway. And what I felt that Adlan excelled at was the use of humor and pairing his presentation with a lot of puns and play with words to help us visualize this journey that he took in terms of going through his growth as a Toastmaster on this particular pathway. I really liked how he used the slides. He kept it really simple with large images, and they were not too wordy. In terms of transitions, they were easy to follow because in some sense, the depiction of the growth of himself through the different ships that he took enabled that so that we could see how he actually progressed. In terms of the structure, if you were to observe, he actually provided a context. So he described what was success using PIE and later on adding the R as part of his reflection, which I think was necessary and important for all of us to understand. That's how one grows, is through reflection. And then he then explains the terms and the concepts, and I like that structure where each ship that he went on, the advantages and disadvantages, so he described what it was, why, the story, and then the action thereafter. And I really like that he also paired these stories with some anecdotes of his journey with the respective ships. I thought that was well done. Some things that he might consider to improve is in terms of, again, it's more about the presentation in itself. It's really in terms of the lessons learned. Could you have made that more visually appealing as everything else was? Personally, I would have probably liked to see it not as a bullet point, but probably with supporting images, like an icon with simple words. And then also, I really felt that it was nice if the conclusion could have had its own slide as well. And again, it ties back to the images that you had of the peer plus what success is, and everybody is having their own ship. So I think that would like drive the message home in terms of what success is, in terms of that definition, and then everybody embarking on their own ships. I also would have liked to see, in terms of delivery of the conclusion, is to that would help with anchoring of the definition of success. Go back to the PIE with the R, and then the emphasis on success as a journey. It's more about, I felt that in terms of the energy level, it somehow tapered towards the end, and that you could have delivered that conclusion with more punch, just as you had started from the very beginning, in terms of vocal variety as well as presence. I felt that while you had a call to action about let's sail together, I think that could have come across more strongly across to our audience who are listening in the room tonight. Other things that I would have loved, and I thought about that, and it would depend really again on the overall structure you decide to choose, is I think that emotional connection in some sense. I understand that your perspective probably is to inform the audience of that journey you went on, but I would love to at least hear maybe one or two stories that went a little bit deeper to share that personal point of view of your growth and how it really impacted you, and then there in turn impact all of us. Now in terms of what I'd like to challenge you is really to think of a TEDx kind of stage, is that I understand that there were different crowd reactions, that we were laughing, tear jokes, and also responding to how the puns were created and crafted. So to eliminate the word of the use, let me cook, it's just that if there was an audience response, you let them laugh and smile, you smile back at them, and then you continue in a very joyful way, and just to enjoy that moment. Because overall, I felt that you were very relaxed on stage. I did feel that you displayed the mastery and presentation skills, not only in the way you brought yourself on stage, but also what you presented through the slides, and just how you crafted the entire presentation. So just a little bit of challenge is just how you respond to the audience at the end of the day. I know that we all know each other, but ultimately we are preparing you for the bigger stage, but we look forward to having you there. So Adlan, I want to say that it was an excellent presentation, and as you say, we're still sailing that ship together, and we're really proud to have seen you come this far. And I just want to say congratulations for being presentation mastery proficient. Well done, Adlan.
Well done on completing. So he's presentation mastery proficient, which means for our guests, he has completed all the 5 levels within that unit, within that project. So if I could just ask us to just give Adlan one more. Well done. So this is where I will give my first evaluation. I'll be first evaluating the table topics evaluator. So Lawrence, I like your style in terms of, he gives a general statement. So he says everyone was very insightful, he's very positive when he gave feedback. And he actually pointed out, because he's an English teacher, people using linking devices, so the adverb when. And he said everyone used this structurally. So I do like Lawrence's little tidbits of information. So that's quite nice. When you gave the individual feedback, you did it mainly around the structure. So you said to Hakim you had a definitive structure and you gave him a quote. I feel that maybe you could have done that for each individual. I feel you did it for Hakim, maybe a little bit for Frank, but I remember you said, Charles was an effective speaker, me. But you never said how. So what did I actually do in my structure? Could you give me a quote or an example? I think for Hakim, you said you had a nice one where you said no one is born happy, and you said something about your ICE, and it was very definitive, and you gave him a clear example. So maybe for each person, just has to be one example because he has 4 people to go through. that would have maybe strengthened your feedback for the structure. Otherwise, I do like your positive start, and I always like it when you give us a little bit of a language tidbit. Just personally, I like it. In terms of the next evaluator, Alia, in terms of your evaluation, you came out quite strong. You said, this is what I like, but here are your improvements. I think we can be a little bit more, less, like do this, or these are your improvements. It is Amira's second speech. Believe it or not, it is her second speech, and that was an excellent second speech. So if we just have a quick clap for Amira. I do like your tone of voice, and even though you said, okay, here are your improvements, you're like, oh, but I love your examples, I love your demeanor. So even though you might have come out strong, you were very polite, very lovable in terms of giving her feedback. You even mentioned Gossip Girl, and I was like, oh no, not Gossip Girl. Few things that I thought that maybe could work on is very similar to Lawrence, is when you mentioned reenacting for the father. This could have been stronger. It was that what happened already happened. I remember Zaki was like, oh, what happened already happened. He must have heard this before. When you were saying to her, you could have emphasized that. Could you demo it for her? So whenever we give advice, it's always good to demo it, to show the speaker what you mean, instead of saying, do this. So another one would have been, you said to her, vocal projection could be better. What is vocal projection? Raising your voice or lowering your voice when need be. And can you give an example in her speech? Okay, so we're always looking for examples of feedback. Nonetheless, I thought you were very positive, and you did mention her use of pauses, which were really, really good. I thought you were fantastic in pausing at the right time, letting it flow, and going through. And then I should have given you an example when you paused. So that was actually not good feedback. Lai, in terms of your feedback, Ling, the three wise men, you pointed it out. Bobby, good structure, because you structured around 3 people. And then you your word of advice to him is, could you, because it's a mentorship program, talk about your mentors. I did feel it was a bit like, this is my mentor, this is what I got out of it, the lesson I learned. For example, independence from your father, and then you spoke about independence, but you never spoke about the person. And that distancing from your mentor might take away from an audience, because we all want to hear a story about where someone had some kind of relationship with you. So I think you were very factual and not, what's the word I'm looking for?
Emotional?
You have that
Emotive,
word.
yeah.
Storytelling.
Yeah.
Emotional.
Yeah, more emotional.
I'm not emotional.
Heroes.
You were very businesslike.
Yeah.
I was going to say something bad, like generous or something. Okay, Rosanna, yours presentation, very good. You immediately went out and said these are the things you excel at, the humor, your puns, your play on words. And you said this helps because with your analogy, he could have the ships. So what I liked about tonight is there's 3 ways to structure a speech. Amira did chronology, which is time, when she was young. Bobby did themed, or units, with people, and he structured along that. And Adlan used something called an analogy, or analogous, or analogous. In other words, using a metaphor of sailing, and just every now and again, he just touches into a boat. So there's 3 different structures. And Rosanna is correct, your structure is wonderful. However, if you're reflecting on your relationship, and one of the ships that you very valued was relationship, but we never got to hear about one, it kind of sinks your ship. Okay? Because you're saying my pivotal point is your relationship. We're in this together. Okay, but who did you have a relationship with in terms of growing? You never mentioned another ship. So I do agree with that. It's kind of a technical thing, but in terms of your structure, I'm sure everyone can agree it is well crafted. You are a wordsmith, despite Ling's being affected by all the puns. And that is your strength. And I think just for this project, because of the reflection and your focus on the ships, that would be done. But otherwise, all the evaluators tonight, I think they were excellent. I really like the positive spin. We're now going to quickly go to our next role player, who is our grammarian for this evening. Please help me welcome back Rosanna.
let's start with the word of the day. So congratulations to Jasmine, Florence, Alia, Ling Ling said it twice, Charles said it twice, and Bobby said it twice. On the word of the day, flourish. Next, we move on to this is just not arranged in any particular order, but things that I particularly liked. Tonight's meeting was when someone said to listen intently. So listening intently means that you're fully engaged or you're determined. That shows the strength of your purpose. You wanted to listen with purpose. There was a phrase that was used that was called a party pooper. This is a slang. It originated in 1940s to 1945. Usually somebody who's a party pooper is somebody who doesn't have interest to actively participate in a social activity and spoils other people's enjoyment. But in the context that's being used here, that the evaluator may be a party pooper, just means that he or she may not share the same opinions, ideas, or enthusiasm of others in the group. Then I really like how one of the speakers used the word contentment, but also then used contented, because then it's from the same word of contentment. So being content means to be satisfied and have a sense of peace. And then there are some trios or duos, which I call them at this point. So some trio just now was skills, courage, and grace. Amira said that. I really like how that's clustered together. That gives a lot of impact to what she had to say at that point in time. And other duos that was used was Lawrence had said interesting and insightful. And then Hakim said trials and tribulations. So a tribulation is something that causes you suffering or trouble. There was also a phrase used just now, says fair, free market, so to speak. Typically I use that in economics, but in any case, what it means for you tonight is that the practice of non-interference in the affairs of others, especially with reference to an individual's conduct or freedom of action, and that's laissez-faire. Other phrases which I thought came out from Amira's speech was really wonderful in terms of the descriptive use of the English language. The world was my oyster. I had a vivid imagination. Then she described how the garden turned into a bowling alley, and the fun seemed to last forever. So it's very visual, and we can really capture that moment where you took us back to your childhood. I really like that metaphor that Frank used, where the four things that he believed in, a table of four legs, even when you break one of the legs, there's still others for support rather than relying only on one leg, which is unstable and can be dangerous. I thought that was really nice. And I think one last thing to walk away with tonight is, there's just the word that we use, repeat. Can you repeat that one more time? So sometimes in some settings, I've heard it being used, can you repeat that again? But actually the word repeat is to say it again. So if you say repeat again, it becomes redundant. And then I wondered if the word repeat one more time makes the word repeat redundant. Because say it again, say it one more time. And then I thought maybe the person wanted to be very specific about how many times he needed it to be said. Yes. So I said, could you repeat that? Then that would be just one more time. Could you repeat that 2 more times? Then you can be specific. Small thing to walk away with. Other than that, thank you very much for having me, Sacred Marian. Over to you, Jenna Amanda there.
Nice food for thought. As I was standing up, I was like, do I need to say stand up? Because I stand, and you sit down. Do you need to say sit down? Just sit. That's anyway. You have just opened up a can of beans, and so help me welcome our next role player for this evening, our R counter and Who Said What, Alia and Shah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm back. Okay. To circle back to what my role is all about, as an outcomer and Who Said What, I am to note down your crutch words and to challenge your listening skills. Without further ado, for the outcomer report, I'll go through the guest first. For Frank, you had 9 crutch words. Jasmine had 2. Hakim had 1. Now for the guests, Zaki had 3. Ling Ling had 5. Alia had 10. Philip had 3. Charles I stopped counting when he reached 15. And Bobby had 3. To the ones that I didn't, to the names that I didn't mention, congratulations, and congratulations on being quiet. Now, the second part actually took up this role because I missed in set 1. Okay, for the first question, what did Bill Gates said about feedback?
Lawrence, what was it, Lawrence?
We all need people who will give us feedback. That's how we improve.
No.
What's the best thing to do when we retire?
Come to
Join
Toastmasters.
Toastmasters.
Correct. Who were Bobby's 3 wise men?
His dad, his
His
boss,
That is it.
and Stephen Song.
Yes. Very specific. What does BOAT stand for?
Buoyancy,
Operate.
operating,
Aquatic.
transportation.
Yeah.
Transport, okay.
Lastly, what did Amira and cousins had a political argument about?
Snacks.
Correct. That's all for me. Back to you.
What did Bill Gates say again, Lawrence? I know Bill Gates. Yes.
Something improvement.
Feedback. We need feedback to improve in a
We
nutshell.
all need people who will give us feedback. That's how we improve.
Please help me welcome our timer for this evening, Philip.
I feel like I'm doing this for the first time. The last time I did it was about 6 years ago.
No lah.
My first attempt. But anyway, as the timekeeper, there's no proper order. Okay, for the table topic speaker, I took 2 minutes 4 seconds. Hakim took 52 seconds. Frank took 2 minutes 16 seconds. Charles took 1 minute 30 seconds. Very good. Our meeting started at 7:35. The introduction stopped at 7:57. And we go to the prepared speech. Amira's speech took 5 minutes 52 seconds. Atlan, because it's a long speech, it's supposed to be between 10 to 12. Atlan, you took 15 minutes 12 seconds. Bobby's speech is 7 minutes.
Oh, nice. Wow.
I think he has a building clock. For the evaluation, it's supposed to be 2 to 3 minutes. Alia took 3 minutes 21 seconds. Rosanna took 4 minutes 38 seconds. Lily took 4 minutes. And Lawrence took 3 minutes 23 seconds.
Wow.
The grammarian, Rosanna took 3 minutes 51 seconds. And our counter, Alia took 1 minute and 43 seconds. And I took 1 minute and 50 seconds.
Wow, so 6 years ago and you can still remember how to do it. It was perfect. In terms of the evaluators, there is a Best Evaluator Award, but they're only eligible if they're within time. So, Philip, I'm just going to ask again, who were the eligible evaluators within the time? I think I heard a couple.
Alia,
Alia is
one.
available.
Mhm.
Lawrence.
Lawrence available.
Lawrence eligible. Any others? That's it, yeah?
I think these two are available.
These two.
Yeah.
Okay, so you'll see a little slip again. Please do vote for the eligible evaluators, those within time. Okay, and Toastmasters time is very important. On that note, I will try and be as quick as I can. In terms of the next 3 roles, grammarian, R counter, and timer, Alia, I really enjoyed your, Rosanna, I really enjoyed your grammarian. I found it interesting that yours was mostly the positive. Good words or good phrases that we could use. For example, trials and tribulations is something I put down as well. And you did end with something that we could take away. And I like that. I don't like to be maybe overburdened with too many possible areas. Maybe something that we could take away. And I thought that was something we could take away in terms of, what was it again? Repeat. Again? What is it again? Repeat it again?
Repeat
Why
that
not just
one
say
more
repeat?
time.
I make the mistake when I reverse backwards. So you reverse backwards. So that is a good tip. So I like that idea. Instead of saying someone made this error or someone possibly made that error. I really like that idea of just picking one and also giving us good phrases we can use. In terms of the who said what and Alia's R counter was perfect. That's more of a numerical thing. Yeah, no hard feelings, 15 is okay. I did like your who said what as well, and I'm glad you were the R counter. Alia, when she came up, she said, I want to be who said what. It's fun. And I think you did a great job. I thought they were really, really fun. And I also like to see Lawrence sweat a little bit with his own quote. Very good. Timer reports. Philip, you would never say that you did this 6 years ago. I think your timer report was spot on. You gave us the important key times. This is all we knew when we start, when we transition. And you gave all the speakers their time and the evaluators their times. That is the most essential. So well done to all those role players. I'll try to keep this as short as possible because I know we are over time. But in terms of the role players, I have to talk about the Table Topics Master and the Toastmaster of the evening. Table Topics Master, in the break, through her own admission, she did say that they were a bit tongue-twistery because they are idioms or expressions, and when you give the topic and the speaker and you have to work out what it means, it is a little bit of a difficulty, but I think Ling Ling's experience showed if you give someone a table topic and you realize it's a bit sticky, just change it. And you were brave enough to do that. And I just want to also mention Hakim for attempting that difficult table topic. And I really enjoyed that you're like, okay, give me another topic. You weren't like, oh, and go sit down or game over. You're like, give me another one, let me try. And I thought the second one, your introduction, Alia mentioned it.
Very good.
The feedback, was it Alia? Feedback? Was it Rosanna? Oh, it was Lawrence. Was really strong, really powerful. So well done on standing your ground, your battleship, and doing the table topic. And just a quick applause. Yeah, Toastmaster of the evening. Believe it or not, this is Zaki's first time.
Wow.
It's not easy being up here. Something that I want to commend you on is you'll see I have a little piece of paper as evaluator to write down points. Zaki didn't even have a script as TME. And for a first time, that is really good. Most TMEs are here with their paper. So excellent, learning the script. I liked that you even had some background information. You were saying 144 countries, and I'm like, that's not in the PowerPoint. So he memorized it. So well done, Zaki, on the effort. There were some things that we could work on as we go through. For example, you didn't even introduce yourself as a TME, you skipped yourself. I thought that was quite funny. And then just in terms of the titles and the names, you even got a few right and then a few not so much. But I think by and large you did a really, really good job. Just remember, in between, as a Toastmaster, you have to kind of give transitions. So you have to kind of keep, I'm going to use this word, I have to use it, the vibe. The vibe going. And as a TME, there's little transitions, but you kind of learn that as you do. So I can't wait to see you as TME again. Just one of the other things is Adlan's speech was very long, so that is why we're over time, but it wasn't recorded on the slide, so it might have thrown guests off. Other than that, I applaud you on being TME for the first time. It's not easy, and whoever's next might also be the first time as well. So thank you very much. That's my job as general evaluator. Let me hand it back to the team.
Thank you, Charles Bob, for the generous evaluation. Now for our last session, we would like to announce, I would like to announce the best evaluation for today's session. Drum roll. And for our next agenda of today's session, next and final agenda would be the closing remarks. Let us welcome the president of Toastmaster Speakers, Brunei Speakers Club, Bobby Hassan.
Okay, so first, so we'll cover that's what they say me. Get comments, members, feedbacks, AOB, and closing remarks, and I'll try to do it very quickly. But that. So announcement of the next day should follow the flow. So next one will be. We have your brother to help you out. Okay, so quickly guest comments. I'm trying to see if I can remember. Okay, so starting with Yvonne. What do you think? What did you think about the meeting tonight?
That's very fast. Yeah, so a lot of things just zoom past my head.
Yeah. So I think that's more of too much in a short amount of time. But I think that's fast.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Jasmine?
Yes, I love it. It was very interesting, and I didn't really expect everyone actually get to being evaluated. Yeah, it was fun. I love it.
Carlton, you came in late. Okay, what do you think about the meeting?
I have this great eerie feeling coming back here, and it's really good to see that all of us here are still perpetual learners. We are also preserving the culture of what we have learned from our roots of our Toastmasters. On top of that, I feel BFC is still BFC.
Oh, okay.
And I really enjoy the meeting, and informations are still amazing.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Can you remember the last time I met you in Toastmasters was 2012, 13, I think.
2013, end of 2013.
13 years, so 4 years. Okay, this is member, and I'm not sure, Frank not yet a full member, right? So, still yes. Potentially last time for you to share us, I guess. Yes, so. So, what do you think about the meeting?
Yeah, I feel every time I come to Toastmaster, every time I can learn the communication skills, how to talk, how to be confident when you face people. This I got this improvement only in Toastmaster, I think. That's all.
Thank you. Oh, lupa Zanti, sorry. Izanti.
I think that like everyone's here. I love the environment here. Like everyone's talking to everyone, and like I feel like you guys know each other before me, and I can see the the bond until it's very precious life. And also, in the end, it was kind of scary that I see some part evaluation until everyone is evaluating each other. Like, what's going on? Everyone is noticing each other. So it's such a rare moment, like everyone is noticing each other. Yeah, that's a bit scary.
Okay, thank you. But it is necessary, everyone gets evaluated. Everyone. But we get used to it and we embrace it, especially for myself. Like Charles said, I embrace the pain. Next up is members' feedback. So not every member, gila. That'll be too much. So any member who would like to provide feedback.
Christy, because she's flying to UK.
Oh,
Hello everybody. My name is Kirsty. This is a bit of a last hurrah. I just came from the temple to pray and for the what do you call that? 中秋节? What do you call it? Mooncake Festival. So that's why I'm late today. I'm sorry. Yeah, I did not manage to listen to all the speeches, but judging by the evaluators, all the prophecy is very interesting. 15 minutes long. I just like to commend everybody because Zaki's first time being a TME, and I know TME is not an easy job because you have to carry the vibe and you have a plan and you have sometimes you have a team and you have to be the one carrying the whole, it's like the whole weight of the show of the meeting is on your shoulder, something like that. And I just like that everybody in this room were able to carry the vibe and make sure that Zaki is able to, you know, be the TME and be his best during the TME. And I just, yeah, it's the energy that I gained from VSC that I really like. And I think after 3 years of coming to Toastmaster meeting, it's never, it's never gone, It's always a learning place for us, and it's always a supportive place, even to me, and I will definitely miss this place. Yeah, thank you very much.
Any other members' feedback? I'm not sure if
I'm AOB.
So I'm not sure if Charles got this in, but when Zaki was introducing the roles, it was slightly different flow than what it's used to, but it still kind of worked. I'm just so used to the usual flow. So even everyone all in one go, but usually the prepared speech evaluators are later, just before the prepared speeches. But that's okay as well. It's your show, you run it the way you want. So if no other members' feedback, then A or B, any other business? Yes.
Just me. For the members, because the new term starts from the 1st of October, I need to have the fees in, the membership fees for the 6 months. So for guests, the way Toastmasters works is you have to pay 6 months in advance. So we don't do a month to month, it's more like you pay for 6 months and you're a member for 6 months. Or a year. I'm just saying it's out there if you want to do it. So the fees have to be before 1st of October. So I will send a reminder again. Can I have them just before 28 September? Because even though it's the credit card that can be instant, I don't want any issues of being time-wise. I mean, we could do the 29th or even the 30th. But just to be safe, I think the 28th is a Saturday or Sunday. So I'll just send a reminder again, just for the 6 months. Yeah. Okay.
Any other business? I'm curious on the Brunei Advanced Speakers Club next meeting. Anyone have any information on that?
Yeah.
Can't remember.
Brunei Advanced Speakers Club will be meeting on 27th of September at the workshop auditorium at the Design Technology Building at Anggrek Desa. We have one prepared speech and a fireside chat with Yusuf Halim, who's a lawyer but also the president of Majlis Kemasyarakatan.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Something, Brunei Community Society.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's going to share about his experience about leading an NGO and how to make it sustainable and to also motivate the team. Yeah. And then also another note is that Vivid Voices podcast will be happening on 23rd of September online. If you'd like to join us, you can ask me for the link. And the topic will be diet versus fitness.
No.
Yes.
I'll check my schedule. Okay. Anything else? Okay, thank you. So, no other business? Okay, so closing remarks, as much as I don't want to, but apparently I'm supposed to give one. I like the theme that was all about success, and most of our speeches tied in line with Toastmasters as well. It is possible for everyone to succeed regardless of Toastmasters. But I would say Toastmasters is a really good path for you to go through. Because even as I shared earlier, I thought myself as a good speaker already, but when I joined Toastmasters, I saw a lot of things that improve. Which one of my greatest weakness a long time ago was my timing. Sometimes I would talk over time, but as you notice, I was 7 minutes flat. It's lucky, but okay, I'll take it. So I hope the guests will come again in the future and hopefully become members themselves. Because as guests, you can only go so far. Like you can join the table topics and you can listen to all the evaluation. But as members, we do the prepared speeches so that we can prepare the speeches and get evaluated to improve on them. To find out more, check back with any of the members, especially with Rosanna. Okay. So I think that's about it. And anything else? I close the meeting, but reminder, take a picture first, then we can go home. Okay, and with that, I adjourn. Ada stand.
Stand?
Ya, ada stand maksud dia. With camera lagi tu. Don't know siapa punya camera tu.
I don't know. I suddenly had like 5 people sending me that link saying like, yo, you're famous on Reddit. I'm like, what?
Oops. Okay. Okay, ada sudah sana. Okay, baik main.
So itulah tu.
Okay, bah, sure, bah. Okay, itu gambar, ini video.
So you want
That's how it's talking about like doing the introduction. I was like, okay, pick it up. I was occupied.
The day off. 2 days later.
What time is your flight? Yeah?
We are also auntie. I haven't been a kakak since I was 15.
Vlogging this.
Guys, specifically tell people not to call me kakak sibling.
Why?
Because I went to someone's house once and then the kid laughed at me and said, "Namamu Kak Ling, Kak Ling, Kak Ling." Sharp. Yeah, so I haven't been auntie since I was 15.
Video
The kids are
Okay. Okay, smile. 1, 2, 3. Okay, freestyle. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. Yeah.
Hey, you said that you used to be a member. I was an official member. I was in my country. I got to CC 7.
But my aunties are capable.
So it's East Coast. Everyone knows Johannesburg and Cape Town. Mine is
make fun of my grandma said, hey, không see ông là ông có là
He called it, I think it was only a DS. He came around, the state was called the top. The top. Wow, you're exploring history, you're around the coast. Yeah. So, what makes Durban interesting is Cape Town. You have two colonies. And then the other two, are the colonies of Egypt.
That's why you want
Quite interesting. Well, I've been to toured in Korea, South Korea. So your family is there with you and wait for you outside. Let me see you again. Maybe I might send you a little hey, I'm meeting again for free and you see. The furthest is scary because it
yeah, but like in a really fancy shiny house. I know about architecture in Belgium.
But yeah, this is
You know the like you know the rest.
If you don't mind, I will just send you one more one to say. This one was pretty intense. Because I've done finished this project, so you shoot. You can go to choose another one. These climate lighting. Yeah, he's finished his module.
Good to see you.
Hey, good to see you, Doctor. I'm so surprised to see you walk in through the door.
Those two guys are peeping over there for quite some time.
Oh, is that why you called them in?
Yes, yeah. I'm like, you guys are peeping, why don't you just go in?
Oh, weird.
I was supposed to do substitution. So they divided the stages all the best.
Okay, y'all. I gotta get some bit of yeah. All right, bye, y'all. Take care. Take some bouquet, bro.
Okay.
Another one?
What's the best?
You can have
Thank you for taking it back.
you can double mark.
Oh wow. Yeah, and we're planning to get
Yes. So how many
Which camera is this?
It's still recording.
Yes, it's recording. It's okay. I'm gonna do the last part time lapse saja. Tapi I should have done 0.5. Okay, never mind. Yes. Okay, again, bye.
Oh yeah, I just want to check in with you for fun.
Okay, sure.
I usually, I mean, I'm very, how to say, this is a healthy club.
Yes. Yeah. Well, we tried to. I mean, apparently since COVID, it was a bit of a challenge. They even had to collaborate with the UBD Toastmasters Club for a while. But yeah, we're doing better. So, technically,
welcome back.
Yeah. Okay, I think they appointed me out of desperation.
But you're taking it gracefully.
Okay, as I can, but yeah, there's a lot of people who help out that makes it easy. So
Yeah, I'm really glad.
Okay.
I mean, of all of them, you're back here. Wow, that's one of the most luckiest thing to have. Okay, sounds very painful, but really,
I'm a very hesitant leader.
I know you try to be rational about the time.
Yeah. So I know, but as you heard from the evaluation, I need to be a bit more emotional. Which I don't like.
It's okay. It's a feeling you go through, right?
Yeah. But I feel like
how's swimming?
Oh, it's good.
Picking up. I see. That's one of the most effective way to provide service. That's it.
Yeah. Service business is the easiest one. Whatever skill you have, provide. So I'm getting a few people who wants to go into the army. Seeing a few people who do scuba diving. Some scuba divers don't know how to swim as well. And a few people who are doing competitive events like triathlons.
How's wife?
My wife, she also teaches swimming, so
I'm aware.
Yeah, the female only. But she's trying her other
Ventures.
Yeah.
Say ventures.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Everything seems to be
You're doing your RO. How about you?
I'm almost done with UBD. That's it. My final semester.
Were you taking like bachelor or you doing masters?
Doing bachelor.
Bachelor. You're not going to continue to masters or anything?
I don't see the need yet. I don't see CGMA. I'm doing my chartered management global accountancy.
Oh, wow. With that one, you don't even have to work in Brunei.
I will see, but one thing at a time. I learned that I finish one thing at a time.
Yeah, you're still young.
No, I'm 30 already, bro.
Younger than me.
It's a matter of time now. I think that everything is coming together. It's just that I'm being more patient.
Okay.
There's one thing that I used to. Hey, how's life wire? Afiq is handling well?
Yeah, ish.
Okay, ish.
Yeah, because a few years back it wasn't picking up as much as he wanted to. It was challenged with following with the institution. Now it's like it's Polytechnic Brunei, UTB, UBD, and UNISA. So a lot of programs are coming together right now. So he's getting almost overworked.
Long story short, so like that time's underwell. Now it's over.
Yes.
I'm glad for him as well because it's after what's his name?
You can have the pleasure.
And I think it was better for him.
Some people yes, some people
In a good way. That's in a good way.
What do you know about his relationship with
His sour time.
Okay.
Let's put it that way. His sour time.
Your time, like
His sour time.
sour time. Wow, it was mostly sour time for like everyone. It wasn't even audition was under stress, so that spilled over to other people as well. It wasn't
easy.
Yeah, it wasn't his audition.
But it was.
Yeah.
Good to see you, Bobby.